Good morning and welcome. Well, it's mornings, depending on where you are. I think it's morning by Hazel, yeah. And good afternoon to others. Welcome to TalkSports, Saturday Sports Special. A warm welcome to one and everyone. I know it's a busy weekend, lots happening all over, not just in Grenada, the Caribbean, worldwide, in case you're following the news and things like that. So, but a warm welcome, as indicated, we'll be speaking to a special group of folks. For some, might be for some they might be believed that they are long forgotten, but somehow they're not, right? They're the ones who have given us some level of hope, some level of aspiration over the years. We refer to them as Olympians, and they have blazed the trail for many of those who are competing now, because you will ask some folks and they will tell you, that I've heard about this person, I've heard about that person, but I never knew that. So we'll be speaking a lot about that. We're talking about the Grenada Olympians Association, okay? Certain you may not have heard much about such an organization, but that's why we have them today. And hopefully during the course of the year, at intervals, they will come in and give us updates, because certainly it's an important organization to keep, if we want to talk about the legacy of our sportsmen and sportswomen. So I'll give the floor to those folks momentarily. They'll be speaking about the work of the organization since when they are formed, and what they have been doing, what they plan to do, and how they hope to keep that momentum going. Let me say good afternoon and good morning, depending on where you are, to the Grenada Olympians Association. And I'm seeing here quite a few of them. We have, yes, we do have Hazel Regis-Buckels, we have Allison George, and we have Shameen as well. I think Rudieon is somewhere in. Yes, Rudieon is also joining us from Toronto. And right, let me make sure I'm doing a roll call. Good day, folks, and welcome. I don't know, Hazel, you want to give us a brief intro and introduce your folks?
Of course. Good morning, everyone. Well, morning for me. Good afternoon, good night, wherever you're at. Thank you so much, Michael, for allowing us this opportunity today. With us today, of course, you see the beautiful faces. We have our treasurer with us. I am the president, just to start off of the Olympians Association. We have our treasurer with us, Allison George Oli. We also have our chair of our fundraising committee, Charmaine Ross Phillip, and we have our flow member with us, who is always with you, Michael, Rudieon Sylvan Oli.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us, and a warm welcome. And nice seeing you folks. Despite where you are, it might be warm, it might be cold. But let me say, Allison, nice seeing you. Good afternoon.
And good to see you too, Michael. Thank you for having me on here. Well, having us. Pleasure.
Right. All right. Welcome. And no stranger, Allison. And as well, Shameen. Good afternoon to you. Shameen is shaking up.
You're muted.
Good afternoon, Michael. Oh, I thought it was just a general good afternoon, but good afternoon to you. Well, thank you for having us on your show.
Right. And Rudieon, who is also a member of the organization and my co-host. Good afternoon, Rudieon, and welcome as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Hazel, probably can kick it off and telling us exactly about the GOA, when it was formed, and we'll pass it around to the other folks so they can share their involvement and their role and some of the things that they're doing. Hazel?
Absolutely. Well, first, I would like to say thank you to our Olympic Committee, which is the Grenada Olympic Committee, for giving us this opportunity. So just for everyone to have an understanding, in order for us to form this association, we would have had to receive permission from the Grenada Olympic Committee as our National Olympic Committee. So we want to say thank you to the former board, and thank you to President Bernard Wilson as well, who would have known a lot about what the Olympians Association is all about. It is through the World Olympians Association, which is the international body. In order for an Olympians Association to be formed, you would have to get a letter from your Olympic Committee. With that letter, you would have to follow protocol of submitting your bylaws, your constitutional work, and give all relevant information to the World Olympians Association. Once this is done, then they would vote on it during the General Assembly. So in 2024, we have submitted our information, and we are now a member of the World Olympians Association. It was very important for me as an Olympian to have an established Olympians Association. I just want to say thank you to all of our Olympians who, when I made that call, was not hesitant about building a camaraderie and having all of the Olympians together. So back in 2024, we would have done some groundwork, got to get the status of the Olympians Association confirmation from the World Olympians Association. Once that was done, we were very low key because, as you know, when you put an association together, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in order for it to be established. And we still have some things that we need to fine tune as well. So with the members, we went through our election, which we had the votes. I am the president, followed by our vice president, who is Jonathan Steele Oli. We also have Randy Lewis Oli as our secretary. And as I stated, we have our treasurer, Allison George Oli as well. Currently, we have over 40 Olympians in our group, and we are working towards getting the other Olympians to join, as we would know. And if not, we have one Olympian who passed away years ago, Miss Agnes, and we want to, again, still honor her for all of the work that she would have done putting Grenada on the map as well. So that's really the start of our camaraderie and building that. The mission of the WOA, of course, is to represent and to serve Olympians, not just during their time, but also after that, and to, of course, making sure that Olympism is part of our greatest mission, and we continue to follow that mission as well, but while also extending it to the service that we want to conduct for our athletes, not just Olympians in Grenada.
Right. Quite important and quite interesting indeed, because I assume there are a number of folks who, as I indicated, may not have heard, and even if they do, still a bit, confused about the Olympians Association. And you recall, prior to the Grenada Olympic Committee, there was the Grenada Olympic Association, right?
Yes.
Which was the GOA.
Yes.
So hearing about the GOA now, they may think, oh, well, it's the same, and there must be some sort of difference. So Allison, welcome again, and importantly, I know your role, you will talk about your role momentarily in terms of being a treasurer, but how important you see this organization for Olympians, and especially a small island as Grenada. And it is important to note that even though we're small, we're one of the few in the Caribbean. It's such an organization, and ensuring that, probably the legacy of our past competitors in particular, and those who are competing or prospective competitors will know that there are those who are there who will be able to mentor them, to be able to share information with them, and these sort of things. Talk about the importance of such an organization.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Grenada is small but mighty, right? And what is important for me as an athlete, because I think we all will still consider ourselves athletes, is reaching back, right? We got here where we are, and we had people that we relied on, someone that say, I'm not going to give up on you. And that person stuck with us because we showed discipline and determination. And even though there may be some athletes right now who are determined, right, there is no one to help them. There are no resources, because we know even when we got here, there are certain things that we had to figure out on our own. So I believe that by forming this group with people who has gone through so much and understand the meaning of lifting others up and the importance of having something, because if you have nothing, you can't really go anywhere, right? So being a part of this is very important to me, because also in my personal life and journey, I'm always thinking about how can I help someone? How can I help someone realize their goals and their dreams and make it to the next step? So I think with all of us coming together and saying yes, they're going to see, okay, it's not just one person fighting for me. It's a whole body. It's a whole group of Olympians. They've been there, and they know the work that it takes to actually make it to a high level. And we don't want, there are so many wonderful, talented athletes in Grenada, in the Caribbean in general, right? And a lot of them will fall through the cracks because we finish high school, maybe you don't get the opportunity to go to college because we know Grenada is small, but we don't want a talent to go to waste. And so by forming this, and we've went to Grenada back in 2004, and having the opportunity to speak at so many schools and see how kids lit up when they saw us and hear us, and there's just a vision that we're trying to communicate and have them have a dream that they don't let die. So we wanted to make sure we came back ourselves and say, okay, we will continue this because we want people to actually get somewhere. We want them to reach their fullest potential. We don't want their dreams to die. So it's very important for me to always be available, to be able to say yes when I can, and help where we can. And so being a part of this group will help me fulfill that goal, that passion, one of serving, but also saying yes to the ones that need that support and having something to actually give to them. So it's been a journey, like Hazel said. We're still figuring things out, but when we show up for each other, right? We figure out how do we say yes to each other first before we can say yes to the people that needs us.
Mhm. All right. And, I'm listening to Allison, heard Hazel before, and I'm about to talk to Shameen, and there's something unique about these ladies. This is around the time of the year when, well, Rudieon, I mean, you had your time as well, too. We spoke a lot about that. But this is the time around the year when they will say, wow, if these girls to come back and run, Yeah, it's Intercall we talking about. And that's why, that's a nice segue to bring in Shameen.
A good 4x4, a good
right.
4x4, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, good 4x4. Yeah, and that's a good time to bring in Shameen. Nice seeing. And I know a lot of people say, hey, I haven't heard and seen this woman a long, long time. But Shameen, welcome again, and talk about the importance of such, because as you say, you don't want what you folks went through over a period of time in terms of almost forgotten, right? That those who are there now, and probably an Allison saying those who come in after, there will be a legacy. There will be something that they can look forward to. And sometimes, it inspires them. It motivates them, because I'm certain some of the things that you're all planning to do is to reach out to some of those youngsters, explain to them about Olympism and all these sort of the participation, competition, all of that. Yes, Shameen.
Absolutely. And it's a good segue from what Allison have just said. And coming into this as a body, one of the things we talked about is how do we make our presence, right? As Olympians, this is our first time, I think, after the 2024 meeting in Grenada that we're coming to a community, right? So we came up with a theme, at least for you're gonna hear more about our fundraiser and everything that's happening next. But one of the theme that runs with us is just respectfully yours, right? Respectfully yours, it's an expression of gratitude, and it's a way we want to give back. We want to say, one, thank you for the so many people who supported us throughout the years, right? We didn't get to where we landed by ourselves. We had community support. We had businesses that supported us. So we want to say thank you in our Respectfully Yours theme as an expression of gratitude. And it's also our way of saying we really want to give back to this new generation of athletes. Allison speaks so much of what sometimes I call the forgotten. You leave high school or secondary school in Grenada, and we have a whole lost group of people. We hear so much about them at the intercall level. And after that, very little. They come up here. Some of them may succeed to come up at the collegiate level. And it's been a journey. 30 years ago, I started that journey. And it's kind of surprising to hear that some of the challenging experiences that I went through 30 plus years ago, it is still happening for many of our youngsters here. So as an Olympic association, as an Olympians Association, we want to help bridge the gap, and we really want to connect with those athletes here and be a source of support to them in our efforts to give back.
Mhm. Yes, well said. And Rudieon is the only one probably representing the interests of men because you're really outnumbered today. Well, we are outnumbered today.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, what the your involvement, and I know it's something through the program. When we speak, you sort of talk about, and you're the one who actually spur us into getting um, a voice for the Grenada Olympians Association. Certainly. Tell me about your involvement in the Olympians Association.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'm in training, Michael, for a return. So there'll be a return of Rudy on the track again. So I'm just letting you know.
All right.
But no, but certainly, the ladies they speak very well in terms of what the organization is about and what we are planning to do, and I'm really grateful to give back in any way that I can. One of the things, like Shaman said, a lot of the struggles that we went through, and we're still seeing it today. So it's our job. We feel that it's our job now to bridge that gap, to build that bridge. So that's why one of the main reasons we come together is and then for us as Olympians to just to find out how we are doing, where we at in life, because we get forgetting. And right now in Grenada, a lot of the young people don't know who is the Olympians of Grenada. They walk they on the bus with somebody and they never know this person is an Olympian. So it's our job to put them out there and get them in the forefront, get them in the schools, get them in the community to speak to the young people. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to work on. So certainly, like I said, I'm a flow member in the organization. So I working hard to push the message out, to reach the young people, and hopefully that we can get this done as smoothly with the help of supporters, which is what we are reaching out to, with the Olympics Association, and again, Olympic is not track and field. Yes, we only did track and field, but we are opening it out broadly to other sporting as well, because we are about the youths and not only about building another Olympian. We are about the young people of Grenada, letting them know that there is a lot more for them, not just in that box.
All right, and let me just keep you up one moment so that they can see you. Your accreditation is still around your neck. I think that's your accreditation from.
No. I am at the Canadian Championship right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are the Canadian Championship, so I'm one of the
Oh,
officials
this
here.
weekend is
So
the Canadian, yeah,
Canadian indoor, so
Yeah.
I kind of sneak out and find a quiet place to to be here with you guys, because that is very important. So that's why I didn't tell you I couldn't make it this weekend. This
Right.
is very important for us, so I really wanted to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. And here's while he's speaking about that there, and even about the accreditation as well. Um, how do we ensure, and because some of you may or you may not have artifacts from your participation in the Olympics back then. I know we have the Olympic House. There's planned for sort of like an Olympic museum, these sort of things, so that when somehow kids can see, well, even if it means is your number is like, I always tell folks, one of the things I do for all the Olympic games that I have gone to, I have the accreditation card still, even though Carifta games, Commonwealth games, just name it, I have those things. It's my only thing I can probably keep, but certainly there might be something, whether it's old spikes, t-shirt, the numbering, or something like that. How do you ensure that for those of you who have, or those of you who may try to get, because I know Shameen, as I was saying, was trying to hot up my head what day it was. I don't know how far she reached with that, but that's the challenges that you folks have. And I know, and simply because people sometimes are not really willing to give information. That's one. So it's a real challenge. You have to find by any means necessary, even though we're small. And then people, move, they relocate and all these other things. But I know there's an effort to ensure that you folks try to cover as much basis as possible, get as much information as possible. And the only how you all can do that is if you all communicate directly with some of them, So talk about that, folks. How, one, about that legacy part in terms of whether it's a spike, shoes, a t-shirt, numbers, whatever it is, from whether it was 2000, 1996, whatever it is, how you ensure.
So that is a work that we also want to have under our umbrella. So being it that we are newly established with partnership with the Olympic Committee, those are some conversations that have happened. I know for sure I have mines, and I would think that all of the other Olympians have their artifacts somewhere because those are things that are very important to us. The goal is to have all of our Olympians who participated in the Olympic Games, competed in the Olympic Games, to have some type of artifact in the museum at the Olympic House. But again, this is still work in progress. For specifically for our association, we are planning to have our own database where we can keep track of all of our Olympians. And before I even go into further discussion with this, I must give a huge thank you to Dexter Mitchell and our Olympic Committee President, Bernard Wilson, because we basically got a lot of this information from them to continue the work that we're doing. As most majority of you may have known, the goal was to have the Olympians return for the 50th anniversary with the Grenada Invitational, which Dexter Mitchell would have been putting together. But he would have had all of the information and reached out to us. So we took that information, looked through it, contacted all of the Olympians based on the information that we gathered, and from our community, where we then went into having a conversation of putting the association together. We still have some Olympians out there that we have not been able to get in contact with, and we'll continue to do that work because we want to ensure that every Grenadian Olympian competed at the Olympic Games is part of our community, and that we are able to work with them, give back, and allow them to have that camaraderie where we feel connected with each other. So it is a work in progress, and as the team member said, we will continue to work hard to ensure that our legacy, our names, what we did for our country is not forgotten.
Okay, yeah, and some of the folks are already coming in and said, Rhonda Joseph, hi, Allison, George, Oli, good to see you. And yes, and yeah, and I see someone else, Shemaine Ross Phillip, Nixon, Kalul, Lewis. Yeah, so that's probably some of the folks reconnecting with those who might have, communicated, reach out to you. And there's Cassandra Souza Joseph. The Grenadians go out and support the fundraising event. So probably either Shemaine or Allison, you can tell us about this fundraising event.
Well, I'll let Charmaine talk about that. But before she jump in, I wanted to kind of piggyback on something that Hazel said when it comes to, Grenadians knowing who their Olympians are, right? Because we have so many Olympians still in Grenada doing amazing work. And I think people, if they don't know who they are, they won't even know to recognize them. They don't know where they are. They may be having communication with them every day, right? So I think the importance of that is making it available, making that information readily available so they can honor those people, right? They can say, hey, this person is in our community and this is what they've done to put Grenada on the map. So let's support them, like maybe even let's pick their brain. Let's figure out how we can get them together. But also, for me, my son was going through, I try to keep all of my stuff. So I have a 14-year-old and he runs track as well too. So he found all of my things. And sometimes I forget that I keep all of those things in there. So we have in his room, there's a shelf displaying all of that. But some of the things I forgot myself. But because I kept it, I'm like, oh yeah, I went here. Oh my goodness, this is what it says. And it's so amazing because he is so proud, right? Makes me proud of myself as well to see him literally display all of my stuff in his room. So I think stuff like that gets people excited. And that's what we're trying to bring back. So people can know who they are communicating with on a daily basis. But I will let Charmaine jump in on the event, which we are super duper excited about. And we really hope that, as many people as possible can join us because they're hearing about why we are actually doing it and why we would love for them to show up.
Okay, thank you, Allison. So you guys would have heard a lot about our vision and our mission and the things that we want to do. In order to do it, and I'm hoping you guys can hear me clearly, in order to achieve those goals, we need to fundraise, right? We need to be able to raise money to do a lot of the things that we're doing. So we have on Carifta Weekend as a pre-Carifta event, we have the Grenada Olympians Association presents Respectfully Yours. Respectfully Yours is where it's where vision meets the people, right? It is, as I mentioned earlier, our opportunity to give back, and it is an expression of gratitude. So it's not a big party hype, but it's really special and important to us. Respectfully Yours is intentional. It is our expression of gratitude. It is legacy, and it is a way of saying thank you, and it is a way of saying we want to give you back. So let's be clear. This isn't all about it isn't all about we hosting an event, right? It's an event and we're creating an experience. It's an all white, all inclusive premium event. Imagine post sunset on the seas, partying with the Olympians and on the ecstasy. So this is on the ecstasy. We have some DJs locked in, DJ graphics, and some others locked in. This is all inclusive, as I mentioned. The event includes a catered meal, premium drinks, treats, giveaways. So it's going to be a very fun experience. Again, this is where I feel like sports meets Grenadian culture, right? So it's where champions meet soca. It's where legacy meet vibe, right? It's all of that cool things happening with the event. So we're inviting our soca powerhouse like Boise and Tara, and I see Shortpree is going to be on your event. They are all sports people, right? Sports people who are now artists. So it's a nice merge of culture, right, and sports together. So we're asking everyone to join us on board. Dr. Karani James would be on board with us. So this is not just an ordinary cruise. We know people have options, Carifta Weekend, but we wanted to make this something special. It is us giving back. It is creating an atmosphere and an ambience. It is gratitude in motion, right? The evening is going to be fun. It's going to be epic. You can get your tickets right now and go to FET. We're just asking everyone to support this initiative. General experience is $250. VIP experience is $350. Space is limited, so we're encouraging you to get your tickets before they're gone. It's going to be a fun and a cool event. I don't know if I speak fun, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
So thank you.
and that's the weekend of the Carifta Games, right?
Yes. It's the Thursday before Carifta. Yes.
So
And
April 2nd.
yeah, and to make it very
and go ahead.
and to make it very clear that again, we are raising funds to give back to our athletes. So we want people to know where this money is going. And we truly, truly appreciate businesses, sports lovers, like everyone to participate in this initiative.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It is called partying with a purpose, right? So you guys come party with us, and it is in an effort to give back. And Baston, we ask, even those in the diaspora who might not be able to make the event, they can support by buying a ticket, and they can donate that ticket to a school, a volunteer, someone who's involved in the development of sports in Grenada. So there are ways the community can get involved, whether you're here or there. If you're at home, definitely come out and join us. It's going to be a fun event. But if you're here and you're thinking about ways to support, definitely consider buying a ticket and make that ticket a donation to someone. So that's practical ways our community can help get beyond our vision. So that's an appeal to your general audience. Thank you.
Right. And the time again is 7 p.m.
Boarding time is at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah, it's on the ecstasy. Boarding is at 7 p.m. The departure location is at the Grenada Yacht Club. Again, as I mentioned, it's all inclusive. It is all white. You get premium drinks, all of that good stuff going with it. It's going to be really good energy.
Right. Yeah. We'll come back to it during the course of the program again, because I think it's important for you to keep explaining the importance of such, and it's probably your first major fundraising activity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's important to give clarity, because I know people will ask at times, who officially qualifies to be an Olympian? like you folks, all carrying the Oli after your name, and that is, what is given as official designation or title to an Olympian, right? So, who officially qualifies to be called an Olympian?
So to qualify to be called or to be given the Oli or an Olympian status, you would have to compete at the Olympic Games, meaning you have to cross the finish line. And we want to bring clarity to this. This is not our definition. This is the International Olympic Committee definition, WOA definition, that in order to get that status, you would have to cross the finish line. So if an athlete went to the Olympic Games, but for some reason they got injured prior to their meet or their throwing or whatever events they're doing, and they did not actually compete, they are not an Olympian based on the definition. So yes, we would have had at least a few of our Grenadian athletes who would have went to some of the Olympic Games, whether it was 1996 or recently, and they would not have actually competed because they were injured. Because someone actually went to the Olympic Games does not actually mean that they're Olympian based on the definition. And in order to get the OLI status, you would also have to be verified through the World Olympians Association. So for example, when we did the pinning ceremony for our 50th anniversary, I would have had to send all of the names of our Olympians to get verified. Based on that verification, the World Olympian Association printed a certificate and also send the OLI pin to me, so that way we can make that. So nothing that we do, we're doing based of our own. We have to go through an actual association, which is the World Olympians Association, to make sure that everything that we do is correct. Because we cannot, personally, as the GOA, we cannot say that someone is an Olympian or give someone an OLI status. That is through the World Olympians Association.
And then they might still let me see, may still, people may still ask whether or not participation alone is enough, or whether there are other specific IOC recognitions that are required. Is it just participation?
It's participation is part of it. So if you competed, you cross the finish line, then you are an Olympian. But let's say, for example, if you're an Olympian who for some reason had a ban for any type of drugs or any type of anything paraphernalia or anything of that nature, you are still an Olympian, but you will not get the OLI status unless the World Olympian Association would have cleared you and say you have now given that status. So we want people to be clear. If you don't see someone's name on the list, it's not because we ignore them or we are invalidating the work that they're doing. We have to follow the guidelines and only provide the names based on what we were given. And for example, if an athlete had a ban or a suspension, if they're cleared and the IOC and the WA said, okay, now you're back with your status, then we are able to add. But we can't do any of these things unless it's verified and we were given permission to do that.
Yeah, because I was doing some research myself, and I recognize that protecting the Olympian title is an important aspect of global recognition.
So it can be taken away from you, actually.
Well, yeah, that's what I was reading about there.
Just if it's okay, Michael, Hazel, you can also talk about the para, because paras also go to the Olympics, but it doesn't mean that they have to get the OLI title.
So, well, there are two different entities. The WA, which is the World Olympians Association, is for Olympians who went to the Olympic Games. If you are a Paralympian, that's the IPC, which is the International Paralympian Committee, you would get PLY. Those are two different entities. And for clarification, if you do not see our Paralympians on the GOA list, that's because in Grenada, the Paralympic Committee is separate from the Grenada Olympic Committee. There are two separate institutions or organizations. We would always invite our Paralympians to events and things that we're having, but we don't control the addition of names without actual having that permission to do so. Like, for example, the United States have their Paralympic and their Olympic Committee merged together, so they're able to do that. We don't. There's two separate entities, so which means our Paralympians will be getting their certificate from the Paralympic, the IPC, and their PLY. WA only deals with the OLY. if that makes sense.
Yeah, certainly. Some comments.
Nigel.
Blessed good day. Yeah, Nigel, brothers and sisters. Clef Deputy says, wonderful initiative. Encouragement is not all about expenses and expenditure, but accessibility by exerting knowledge, dispensing of experience gained to mitigate the pitfalls of the past. Chani says, Mike, I must state that these ladies and your co-hosts are in an elite group of few Grenadians that participated at the Olympics. Albeit they did not bring gold, however, their sacrifices are noteworthy. I do not believe it's their responsibility alone to be the inspiration for future Olympians. That responsibility is with everyone, including the Ministry of Sports, GOC, and their respective associations and alma mater schools. Curious, why can't they be publicly displayed somewhere? Since I think he added quite a lot there, Jenny, and he did apologize for the typos, but he was saying about having something as a public display or something like that. So, and Shemaine Ross always trying to get things done. Yes, Shemaine.
Oh yeah, she definitely she's not playing about it for some reason.
Shemaine, they know about you. As they say, they know your bad ways. Always trying to get something done. That's Shemaine. Yes, she will.
Listen, I totally believe together we can do more, right? Like it's all of us coming together. That's where true impact happens, right? Sometimes we feel like, for your average listener, like, what can I do? There's so much you can do to help. We have so many Grenadian athletes here in the US. Give them a call, pick up a phone, check in with them, see how they're doing, right? Many of the, Shante and all of the others, I know they're getting little highlights and people are following them. Michael, 30 years ago, you started with me, right? So I like to see you continue. Like, everyone can do something. A lot of the times we talk about the Jamaican model and how Jamaicans support it. It is about community coming together. And I think that's the start of the conversation for us. We really want to draw the community into what we're doing. And every little bit counts, right? If we can work together, we can really get this movement going. And yes, we're in it together, right? It is not just us.
Yeah.
And I just also want
to
also state that with the Ministry of Sports and the GOC, just to put it out there, we are collaborating and working on things that we can do with them. So I do not want the public to believe that there is no support from those entities, because we are, again, working to make sure that we are not on islands. In order for us to do this, we have to do this together. So where the GOA fits into supporting and doing work with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we will. Where it fits with the GOC, we will. Because we also have what we call our Olympic Academy, which is through the GOC, which Allison, myself, and Rudy are also leading as well. So I just want to bring that clarity there for transparency.
Okay, and Shemaine, I don't think they finished with you as yet. To have someone like Shemaine on the committee, is saying, I can assure you that you all didn't make a mistake, and she's a hardworking individual. Opening ceremonies of the Caribbean would be grand highlights, seeing banners on full of our Olympians, those present to step up at the platform, culminating with marching in salute of their achievement, just thinking out of the box. Options can be feed troops, yeah. But,
he said something about SJC girls matching band. You see that, right? So the very important aspects of the Olympians, and sometimes Chenny made the point too about, and Shemaine is saying it as well, is that not because we have a Grenada Olympians Association, we just believe that everything is fixed, right? No.
What we need is that folks coming together, and as you said, Shemaine, it's we can see it as a community effort as well. Because we're small and most of the folks come from the various communities, the villages and things like that. So,
But Michael, also one of the things too is that we want this to be long lasting. So that's why we are making sure that we go through the protocol. We don't just say that we want our name up now and then tomorrow it pull back down. We want something to be long lasting. So that's why we're working with those organizations to make sure that things is properly in place and established. So it's not just giving us something and then today and then there's nothing tomorrow. We want to also establish our names as well, but that also takes time and it also goes through a protocol. So we want to make sure that we are going through this and doing it in the proper manner, the proper channel, and we're speaking to the right people. So it's not a one-off. We really want to be able to do it in the right manner, which is what we are doing. So it might look like it's slow. It might look like, yes, we want our name out there right now, but we don't just want it there now and it's no longer there and people don't know anything about it. We want to be able to take our time, but also make it be meaningful for the future for us. Like we talk about having the AF guides and those things, this is something also we want to be able to be sustainable for many years to come. That when we are gone, our grandkids, they might want to go back to Grenada and say, "Oh, that's my grandma, that's my grandfather," those type of things, and that's how we want to be able to leave that kind of legacy.
Allison, do you think that young athletes in Grenada fully understand the Olympic pathway? I mean, when you started competing and you had keen rivalry at junior days, I can tell you, because I've been following you since then.
Yeah.
You probably never thought at the time of being an Olympian. You just was competing, but there's so much now in terms of with internet and getting information and all these sort of things. But do you believe that young athletes in Grenada, they sort of understand the pathway for Olympic participation, qualifying for the Olympics and things like that? So,
I mean, I honestly don't believe so. And I think that's why we're trying to do the work that we're doing, right? I know for me, I know I had my own motivation, right? I'm like, I have this talent and I believe in myself, but I know that not everyone believes in themselves. And I know that not everyone has a coach like I have. We had Miss Maxwell, we had Miss, Erica Fortune, and we had a group of girls that was very passionate about what we wanted. We did not know anything about how far it goes. All I told myself was, I want a scholarship and I want to get out of here and I know that I can do it. But there is always one person that can show up for you. And that was our coaches. And even when we come to the US, it is not outlined for us. It is not outlined for us. And we had struggles. We had so much struggles. And there are times that I wanted to give up. And I know that so many other athletes feel the same way. And so many of them has probably gone back home because even being in the US, we don't have a clear path. Right? We have to figure it out on our own. And so with that, knowing that there isn't there aren't defined lines, hopefully that is something we would like to work on as well. But being able to create something, one first inspiration to say, you guys have the talent, don't give up. But here you have a group of brothers and sisters, right? Who has done it. And maybe we don't have all of the answers right now, but we can help the best that we can. But I think the goal is, as Michael, not having the actual blueprint, the actual footprints to get there. We want to be able to create something for them. We want to be able to say, hey, if you reach out to us and you tell us that mentorship piece, right? Where do you think you want to go? Because now we're getting to know them, the sport that they're involved in, and maybe we have some of those connections, get connections with some of those coaches, and it's down the line. But seeing that they don't have that, we would love to be able to help put that in place. Because again, there are so many athletes that finish high school and they're so talented, but because they don't know who to call, they don't know who to talk to, and they're just a part of a training group, they're like, this is the end of it for me. And there is no next step. And so we don't want talents to keep dying because they don't know who to reach out to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think you basically fill in the void that we have been clamoring for over the years in terms of having so much talent, having so many athletes out there. And then, as you said, some may have survived and some may have fell through the cracks and things like that. So, and I think such an organization as the Grenada Olympians Association can play a role. We shouldn't see it as a savior, but at least, assisting. And once you're out there, folks have a reason that, hey, let me reach out to the Olympians Association. They may be able to put me in contact with the required assistance, help, whatever it is, whether it's mentorship, whatever it is like that. So I think that in itself is commendable. So
And Michael, also,
yeah,
this is something we speak about all the time. We're constantly speaking about this. What's next for the athletes after high school? We talk about so many different things for them to stay back another year in school, for them to do. There's so much thing we talk about. We talk about Tom CC and the University of continuing some sports program for them. There's so much that we spoke about, that our young kids, we are losing them in that gap, and because the opportunity is not there. So one of the things we also, like I said, we are not a saving grace, but we are here to say, hey, we can do it. I have so much connections with universities in the United States. So it's not that you and many of you guys have also a connection as well. They can speak to it. We've been through it. We've been through the struggles, and it's a lot easier for them now than what we had to go through. So we're just still hoping that they can reach out to us, and that's why one of the reasons we are here as well. So it's not only for our young athletes at home, but those who is abroad. They can reach out to us, they can speak to us, and we can guide them and talk to them about how it is to stay focused. How it is, because everything matters, right? Especially if you're academics, if you're not focused properly, you're going to lose that scholarship. You'll be back home. So it's certainly that's why we are here as well, to kind of fill that void for them.
And we are not doing this again through a silo. In order for any of this work to be done and to be truly effective and efficient, it needs to be the collaboration with all stakeholders. So as we are navigating what that looks like, we will be having those conversations with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, with the clubs, with our own Olympic committee. Again, because I feel like when we all just do things individually or by a group, we're still missing the mark around what support really looks like for our athletes. And again, we are getting ourselves out there. We have our Instagram page, we have our Facebook page. So we want people to follow us. We want people to engage with us. And we cannot forget today to say happy birthday to our Olympian, Lyndon Victor. We celebrate our Olympians' birthdays. You may see it on Instagram. We want to connect in ways, not just being an association, but being intentional about what we want to do and how we want to communicate and make sure that Grenada gets the best of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. And for those who follow the Olympics, and for some, probably they only get in tune when it's upon us. They might ask, who are those Olympians? Who are those who have represented Grenada over the years? We have probably in excess of probably 30, close to about 30, 35, 38, I think, registered. 51 now? Okay. Yeah. 51. No, I'm registered, right?
Oh, like in our group, we have 40. Yeah, we have 40.
Right. I was thinking about just the group because I know you trying to reach out to folks. Yeah. So I know it's close to 40, right? So 40 in terms of registered. And because even reading up on the World Olympians Association, rather, it refers to active participation as well, Yes. You have to be, well, for the Grenada Olympians Association, and to be fully recognized as well, you have to be active. You have to show, there's actually a checklist, I believe, where you have to submit even, an active bank account, for example, and things like that. So I know when it comes to Shemaine and those folks, they have to ensure that when they do their fundraising, all these, the accounting and all these things are well taken care of and things like that. So because all that will determine your eligibility and your sustenance and things like that. So we'll come back to that, and we'll have to go a little extra time because I think there's some other things I want to talk to. What lessons, folks, do you think, as an from your Olympic experiences, as an Olympian, sort of remain relevant today? So many changes over the years. Some of you would have competed 10, 15 years ago and things like that. So, but there's certainly some experiences you believe that are still relevant today because you're still involved in some way or the other in sports.
I would say for me, definitely giving back. as you guys know, I went to St. David's Catholic Secondary School, and my coach, Denise Williams, oh my goodness, and my principal, Magdalene Ferguson, and all of the teachers of St. David's Catholic Secondary School, going back to primary school, my teacher, Mr. Ruffin, and just my whole community. Like, you have so many people who invested, who worked hard, who gave their last dollar to make sure that we did the things that we got the things that we needed. So it's important for us to give back. My aunts, my uncles, my dad, my mom, like everyone, my grandparents. So for me, I just could not disappoint. Like, moving to the United States, attending university, every time I step foot on the track, I'm thinking about, how do I make them proud? How do I make sure that at the end of the day, I am not showing up in a way that I'm ungrateful, like I'm not taking what was given to me and make use of it. And most importantly, have a backup plan. I remember very clearly Miss Williams saying, you're not going to run for the rest of your life. So academics is important. At LSU, I graduated with 2 degrees, and we had athletes who weren't graduating. And to them, I guess it was not a big deal. For me, I had to make sure that I had a backup plan, because the minute your legs gave out, you have an injury, you have to think about what's next. And that's my experience. And I think that is something that I'm very passionate about, being involved, not just with Grenada and being involved as the president, but also the opportunities that was given to me. I am a trained career educator with the International Olympic Committee. I'm a safeguarding officer. So those are all opportunities given by the Olympic Committee to allow me to now position myself in a space where I can give back to Grenada in a more meaningful way. So I just want to say to our younger generation, it is not just about running, jumping, swimming. It's the most important thing that you have to understand. At the end of the day, you need to get an education. You need to have something to fall back on, because it is more, this is not more, it is very difficult now to get a scholarship and to also continue your professional career in the space of the United States around NIL, name, image, and likeness. It is very, very difficult. So just have a plan, and that plan should be having a solid foundation, getting an education, so that when things don't go your way, you have something to fall back on.
So many of our athletes go into the prisons of oblivion. This organization can be the gatekeepers to free them from this malice. That's from Cleve Depredine. I'm listening to you folks. I am reflecting on your sojourn over the years, and I say that because you come on at an important time of the year, which is we in the track and field season. You folks have been track and field athletes yourself, and somewhere or the other, each of you during your time would have excelled and probably carried your various schools to championship or there. I speak of Shemaine, during her days at the Boca Secondary School. That was the days when Boca was really something. Allison, well, at that time, the rivalry between the convent in Grenville and the St. David's Catholic Secondary School. And Hazel, the rivalry between the St. David's Catholic Secondary School and the Anglican High School and some other schools, right? And then Rudieon, you had yourself at the McDonald College as well. So I'm talking about those experiences. Yes, we talk about the experiences of the Olympics, but I want to kind of zero into, because you folks would have competed locally yourself, right? And you would have probably over the years seen how intercall has become probably much more than it was back in your days. There was a crowd, there was a following, but you realize now it's almost like a cult. Intercall is like a cult in Grenada now. And weeks before intercall, and I guess it's not because of social media, there's the banter, the back and forth, healthy, and things like that. So, but talk about how these experiences, Charmaine, you can start off too, would have shaped you folks over the years and move from intercall, probably Carifta, and competing, representing Grenada, to your life now as a civilian, let's say,
Right,
your
right,
personal life.
right.
Yeah.
Right, I'm smiling, and I need to correct you. Boca is still up there, right? So don't we have not.
Um, I
Boca,
plead. I
Boca is
plead.
still up there. I need to correct you on
I
that.
plead
But
it. I plead
it's funny because next year, 2027, would be 40 years since Boca last won Intercall. So we won Intercall in 1987. So next year we'd be celebrating our 40th anniversary. So we have something big to bring, I think, to the Intercall scene this year and next year. So keep on looking out for us. But I participated at a time when we had Queen's Park, right? We had grass track. So we didn't have all of the things that the other athletes on here had, right? And to me, that was an experience. And getting to Carifta, like for me, I felt like I've been a part of the beginning phase of track and field in Grenada. Like before me, there was Jacinta Bartholomew, who is the queen of Grenada female track and field, right? But Jacinta was some arm's length away. So I felt kind of alone in this journey. But I had the support of people. And I think that's where my real passion for giving back came about. Like at Boca Secondary School, my God, Mr. Joseph Andrew and Mr. Sebastian Ross, and oh gosh, Mr. Conrad Francis, these people stepped up for me in real ways. Like coach, Mr. Conrad Francis has been my rock throughout the years. He's been more like a dad to me. Journeying through to the Carifta games, or maybe even the OECS games, and being exposed to that, I think that has helped me to see, oh my gosh, I have the ability to go beyond, right? But I didn't know what that means, right? I haven't been exposed, I'm from Boca, like didn't know. But all I know is that I remember coach saying to me, you have to be prepared for opportunities, right? So things I used to do was, and again, I'm speaking to the generation now, is my mom, who lived in the US at the time, would send me these really thick SAT books, and I didn't know what that was. I had to prepare for the SATs, right? I had my good friend Brian Lindor out of Carriacou, and Mr. Ashby and others who helped me in preparing for that, right? That's my community and the foundation of people who helped me through this journey and helped me to believe in myself when I didn't even know I was doing. I didn't know what it was all about, but I trusted in them, and I trusted in in um in their view of where I could go. Carifta Games, again, that was an eye-opening experience, just being able to compete with some of the Caribbean's best, right? I remember in my days it was Inez Turner and those Jamaicans, right? And it was an eye experience, this, not having spikes and not having all of these basic things we take for granted. Those are the conditions we competed under. And for me, going to the Olympics, it was, well, it is, right? It is like, I am so thankful to my country. I thankful to my coach and all of the people who helped me get to that point, because it was that opportunity that led me to college, right? At the time, my coach was thinking we didn't have any offers for school. We didn't know what was next. I was in that zone where I either had to take care of my basic needs or maybe get the opportunity to move on. And I just still remember the day I came back from the Olympics, stopped off in New York to visit family, and I got a call that says, hey, a coach wants to offer you a scholarship. It was just like that. It's not somebody I spoke to. We were not on the radar for anything. I had 5 days to get to Grenada, get to Barbados to get a visa, get back to the US and start school. I don't know if most people know my journey and my story, but it's been something. But I'm saying all of this to say all of the trials and all of the things that I've gone through and all of my journey has kind of prepared me for today, right? Like Hazel said, I went to school and I did what I needed to do. I graduated with honors. That was my focus, all of the challenges we experienced with track and the university and the culture and everything with coming in the US, I had to deal with that quietly, but I focused on school. I wasn't the best student, but I gave attention to it. Right. And it has prepared me today. So even today, with work, you deal with challenges. It helps you to become the person you are. My sons both take on track. And I just remember after I left college, I vow if my children ever wants to run track, it would not be allowed. And unlike Allison, I had nothing around my home that signified that I was an athlete. Absolutely nothing, because I think I walked away from track just being so down, and just it was a difficult time. Not because I was prepared, but because yeah, I was just so frustrated with the experience. So for me, nothing track related. Everything was boxed up. And I just remember when I had my first son, we would be going to the park and he's racing a car to the park. And I'm like, oh gosh, no, you know? And it was coach. I think years later, my older would have been 8, my younger would have been 5. And, we went to Grenada to visit, and Mr. Francis was like, your mother ran track. And I saw their eyes opened up, and I'm like, oh no. So both boys ran track, both boys were state champions. My younger one right now is wrapping up his senior year. And a lot of the things we're talking about, he's going through that challenge. He's in that in-between zone where he has to figure out. And he's a kid that's born here with all of the opportunities. So it's not our kids coming up from home and having to deal with the challenges. He's part of the culture here and is still dealing with his challenges and all of that stuff. So he too is going through that transition. He's represented Grenada, and I think that's his pride and joy, knowing that he's won that ice green and gold. Like that's his super moment, and I'm hoping that would motivate him to the next step. It is his journey, it is his story. He has to figure that stuff out. But I think for me, it's been my greatest joy watching him. Just supporting him through the process and learning how to kind of sit back and watch a little bit. But yeah, how does that experience has helped me? It has given me or placed me or given me that sense of gratitude, right? That's the one word that I can take out from it. And I think that's where the yours, respectfully yours comes about, right? We really want to say I am so thankful for the opportunity of representing Grenada and what that opportunity has done for me, how it has prepared me for where I am today, so I am so truly grateful. Said a lot, but that's a
Yeah.
little bit of
Uh,
my story.
yeah, I'll come back to you all folks because I was looking at some of her while she was speaking to well, yes, that was from Hazel.
My
You know,
auntie.
yeah, Auntie wouldn't give you up once you're on there. Yeah, Auntie wouldn't give you up. But what was I think yes, Cassandra, the good old days in Intercall when Boca SS was boss, bleachers, breaking, jumping, go
Win
shoving,
or
go
lose, be
beat them.
supporting. You know
Yeah,
what?
go and yeah. Yeah, so you wouldn't give it up. But here is Nigel giving throwing out. He said, "Ladies, I still can use you sistering in masters athletics. He wants you all to be part of the masters athletics. And by the way,
Allison is ready. Allison
yeah,
is coming.
talking
I
about
am.
masters athletics, it is a big thing now. You realize masters athletics. I've seen even at the pen relays they bring the masters out, and then there's now masters championships. There's Barbados have their annual championships. I know they have been participating in it and things like that. So there are a lot of invitations out now for masters to get involved. So it's something folks you all can
Yes,
consider to be
yes.
part of, to assist wherever
Or
possible.
motivate others to join.
Yes, to
Nigel,
join.
Nigel,
And
thank you.
yeah,
Yes,
because
Nigel, thank you as well
yeah,
for
because
Nigel as well.
before there wasn't that opportunity, but you all can whatever way you all can
Mhm.
assist and be part of it. You may
Yes,
not compete, but you can be
yes.
part of the athletics. Roll Titus is saying hi, Shamin, and probably a good time. Um, well, we go wrong, so we still have Hazel and Rudieon to speak, but Allison, your level of competition over the years, particularly at home, when you dominated your age group age group at the time was a big feature in intercall. A lot of photo finishes, as we'll say at that time. I think so. Talk about your experience, Allison.
Yeah, my philosophy through the years has been it takes one. And I think the excitement that I've carried with me throughout the years is I know that I always literally just focus on track, but it's so exciting to hear people say, like, I showed up for you, right? Even when I didn't remember them, one of my best friends right now, she's like, girl, we used to make songs about you. And only a couple of years ago, we, connected. And I'm like, girl, I don't even remember you. But not to say it in a cocky or a mean way, but I was just so focused. But also, people were showing up. They were excited because one, I showed up for myself, right? I showed up for ourselves. And I valued my talents and I valued what I was doing. And so when I say it takes one, literally it took Erica Fortune like stepping up for me as an athlete, for us girls. And I don't think if it was for her, I was going to make it this far. And then we had Mr. McQuilkin as well, who, you know, helped us get into this school. Because again, as Charmaine is talking, like, I knew nothing about SATs. And that's the other thing too. I'm like, that's where we would be able to educate our athletes coming to the US, because then you're going to get shoved out of junior college potentially. You'll probably be doing classes that you have no business doing, but it's because you aren't ready, right? But it's, for me, it always has been. I've always had a heart of gratitude, because I know that so many people showed up for me, so many people supported me, even maybe when my mom or dad couldn't be in the stadium. It's like I had all of these young men and women, all these girls and boys that are cheering me on. And it was an exciting journey, because I'm like, man, if they are supporting me and if they're excited for me, I should be excited for myself. And I recognized that talent very early. And I'm like, I think I can go far with this. And so when I say it takes one, it can literally just take one person to say, you can do this. You can do this. You can go far. Don't give up on yourself. Even when it feels like there's this huge dirty pool and no one sees you because there are so many athletes, right? You have to stick with the fact that I know what I'm capable of. And I have this one person, this one mentor that I'm talking to that helps me realize what my talents are. And, you know, Hazel being in the education field, I was a teacher. And for me, it was always that the gaps. How can I help students fill in the gaps? Because they're not a failure. They're missing one thing. And that's what I focus on even to this day. I really focus on giving back and figuring out how can athletes realize their potential and move forward. And it's just, for me, it's really an exciting journey, because I'm truly passionate about helping and reaching back out to athletes, because I know somebody cheered for me. And it's really, I'm humble. I think most of us on here walk around with humility and also gratitude, because we couldn't be where we are even if it wasn't just for one person. So we had a lot of struggles. I did, but I didn't give up, because I'm not a quitter. We're not quitters. We didn't get this far because we were quitters. We understand the struggle from very early on, but we did not give up. If we did give up, we wouldn't be here. So I'm really grateful. And again, my philosophy, it does take one. And so we have to tell that one person, like, I see you. Maybe that one athlete that's saying, nobody cares. I don't even have a pair of shoes. So it doesn't matter. Why do I even want to get on this track? It doesn't matter. So we want them to say, no, like, even if it's just a pair of shoes that I need, even if it's encouraging words that I need, even if it's a plate of food that I need, like, that's what's going to help me get to the next level. That's my heart. And I think that's what we're gearing towards here.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. And as we'll say here, normally we'll tell the military, thank you for your service. You know, we say thank you for your service. And Mike is saying, hello, Allison. Mike McQuilkin as well.
And yeah. Mike has been, like, again, I don't think most people know the behind the scenes of supporting us. So shout out to Mike McQuilkin, even Coach Zoder, Phil Zoder, Kent. Like, there are people in New York. There are so many people who have been there for us, even giving us a ride to the airports when we had to get on those flights to travel. So again, it was a community, and we are grateful for everyone who participated in that community.
Before we go on, Cleb says AAA in my vocabulary is not speaking of those in a 12-step program, but a one-step. Adopt an athlete, right?
I love that.
Adopt an athlete.
I love that.
AAA, adopt an athlete.
Yes.
Okay.
We might be using that. We might be using that for something.
Use AAA to adopt an athlete. Rudieon, and then we go on to Hazel.
Yeah, certainly, Michael. I even like that that term, adopt an athlete, because recently I speak to the president of the parish, St. Patrick's Parish Council, Sports Council, and I said to him that you need to find me an athlete that I can support in whichever way that they can, So I like that, no AAA. Michael, when I listened to these young ladies, I didn't have to go through what they had to go through. I didn't have it easier, but I had it a little better. because I moved to Canada where it'd be a little bit more better opportunity for me here at the time. So certainly, I don't want to say I wish I had what they go through, um, but certainly I didn't have to go through what I go through. But I know, listen, I remember growing up, I always speak to this young man, Mr. Hensley Jeffrey, who started me in elementary school, and to this day, he's my friend. He was a teacher, but I can call him a friend. And today, I could pick up the phone and give him a call. One of the things he said to me that I never really take it seriously because we speaking now, it just flashed back to me. He said, out of many of the athletes who went to St. Patrick's, you are the only one that's still involved in track and field. He said you are the first in the parish to go to the Olympics. And a lot of these people, a lot of young people, and even people on a whole don't even know that. And I never really think about it, Michael. And I'm just sitting there thinking about it now. And it's so, it's so true because, following me, then we had Nisha Bernard and then we had Patricia Sylvester. And we all went to McDonald College. And they all went through him to the parish. I just get to the point now where I've given so much to young athletes here in Toronto. And I feel like it is time for me to start giving back to Grenada for the opportunity that I had. Because they had to select me. I couldn't just select myself to say thank you. So this is my thank you. Seriously being a part with the Olympics Association to give back, and then trying to find ways to give back and speaking to people and let them know that I'm available to give back. And certainly it's one of the things I really wanted to do. But listen, Charmaine, I had 75 scholarship. I literally had 75 scholarship. And so, when I listen to you, it's almost making me feel bad, because you are such a great athlete. And I mean, I was okay, but I mean, I had 75 scholarship and you didn't have none. And it was like, when you look at that, I had so much schools at a point, me and my coach, we sit down and we talk and we say, where are you going to go? I said, whoever want me will send me the paper first. And it happened to be University of Memphis. And that's how I chose University of Memphis. And I did not want to go to University of Memphis. I wanted to go to Arizona. But the weeks after, I get the letters from Arizona, So, and I didn't have a bit of regret going to the University of Memphis. So, yes, certainly. And the opportunities that I receive and out here, I feel bad in a way. But I was blessed, with the talent that I have, getting the opportunity, and because of the Olympics that I go through, my name is on something saying I am an Olympian. I came here to the Canadian Championship and I wasn't even supposed to be here, and the organizer called me and said, I am going to create a position for you to be an official. So he created a position for me to be here this weekend. Literally, they didn't have that position, and he created a position, and he called athlete conflict.
Yeah, you're bombing the people thing, man.
Yeah, and he said that he called athlete conflict. So if an athlete have two events, it's my job to make sure that they go through smoothly and they don't miss anything, right? And I'm saying because of the respect I have for the sport and what I've been giving back, people see me now. People recognize me and people saying, Rudy, it's time to give you your flowers. But listen, I always, so when I speak to Mr. Hensley Jeffrey, and I always say, man, a lot of times, and I feel bad because I say, you never got your flowers. And I said that to him personally. I say, as a coach, you've never been recognized in St. Patrick's. This is a coach who won 30 straight primary school sports in St. Patrick's for St. Patrick's RC School, 30 in a row. Never been recognized. And so sometimes I get all the credit, but it started with somebody. My journey didn't just started on my own. It started with somebody. The first time I get the opportunity, my dad sent me a pair of spikes. It's in my bag. I go to school and it's in my bag. Everyone didn't have that opportunity to say they have a pair of spikes because they run barefooted. So I do understand, and sometimes I feel bad. So that's why I really want to be in the position now to give back as much as I can. in any way I can, and that is my journey moving forward. But I'm grateful, but I'm thankful so much for everybody who have done for me. So being part of this is in my heart. To certainly is deeply in my heart to give back.
All right. Before we go on to Hazel, we spoke about the fundraising, the major fundraising activity on the 2nd of April, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we say next month, right? And one person I'm hoping that certainly will be on that cruise is our guest, Sir Kirani James. Okay, and yeah, I'm hoping that
Surprise!
I'm hoping he will be on that cruise, and he's now joining us. Kirani James, welcome, and I know you are a member of the Grenada Olympians Association, and thank you for joining us, and probably sharing with us your pleasure of being a part of such a wonderful organization, I will say, and something that we hope will be able to inspire our current Olympians and probably future Olympians. I think it's
Michael, before you talk, please, it's no longer Kieran, it's Doctor. So please be correctful, please. Okay.
yeah, well, we we'll use a higher title for now. So welcome everybody, and probably when you were asked about being part of the Grenada Olympians Association, what was your thought? What how did you accepted it? And certain that you understood the role of such an organization at the time.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just apologize to the group because I haven't been the best group member for a little while now. So let me
It's
just
okay.
start
We
there.
understand. We understand.
So let me just start there. I haven't been the best group member, but yeah, it was something when the idea came up, when Hazel brought the idea. Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic thing because as athletes, you need that kind of support group, right? Especially home in Grenada, and see, okay, away from other administrations, what can we do to help athletes reach their full potential? So yeah, the idea was great. I mean, like I say, the folks in the group, everybody has some area of expertise that they could offer, and I feel that was a really good blend of talents and ideas and experiences, so that we could help athletes that are coming up, right? So that the things that we went through, they may not have to go through it, or if they are in need of something, then we could find the resources or the avenues to kind of help them kind of meet those goals. So yeah, it was definitely something I really wanted to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think that or what message would you like to send to young Grenadian athletes aspiring to the Olympics? And when I say Grenadian athletes, let's look at it broadly, because we have had participation from taekwondo and and all the other sports as well, boxing and all these things. So those who in those various sporting disciplines, what message would you like to send to them aspiring to the Olympics?
Yeah, I would have to say, it is a sacrifice, right? If you want to get there and you want to be the best that you can be, it is a sacrifice, and you have to be very diligent and focus and really know what it is you want to get, what you want to get out of it. So yeah, and just know that, there are people that are going to support you. There are people that are going to help you. And, don't feel like you have to do it on your own. Always seek advice, always seek support. And know that it's out there. But at the end of the day, is if that's your goal, you have to take it seriously, and you have to understand. I always tell people is, what we do and the process to it, there's no big secret to it. Nobody's doing a special workout that's going to make you get there. It's how diligent you are, it's how focused you are, and how much work you put in, and where your mindset is. So I think that's what I wanna send to those people aspiring.
Okay. Well, I want you to stand by, because you joined us when we were going around the table regarding competition from, especially at the school level, into intercall, into the Carifta. Most people would have followed your exploits as through the Olympics, World Championships, and things like that. So, and may have forgotten back then. So that is what we were speaking about. So it was Hazel's turn now to talk about that rivalry back at the St. David's Catholic Secondary School, competing, some of our rivals there, at the school itself, as well as the other schools they were competing. I think it was Anglican High School, that would have been the main.
It was definitely Anglican High School.
And
Lisa Pascal, Lisa Slinger, the two Lisas.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, going to St. David's, well, let me tell you guys, at first, I was supposed to go to Grenville Secondary School. And I was like, I am not wearing that skirt. I'm just not wearing it. And it happened that I was blessed that conversations happened and I was placed in the hands of Denise Williams. I started off with netball, playing at Croce RC School. And she saw a lot of my talent and potential. But just to make it short, going to St. David's Catholic Secondary School, when we first got there, we all I heard about was Anglican High School. Anglican High School. Myself, Kishara George. And when I tell y'all, Kishara was, my competition was in Anglican High School, but my biggest competition was Kishara George on my team, my teammate, right? Together with the team, Kishara, Kenisha, Sherry, others, we like really and truly wanted to put St. David's Catholic on the map. And as much as they call us the country girls and the tongue girls, it was just this competition between country and tongue. And we just was like, you know what? They're not winning this intercall. And it took every one of us to say, when we showed up on that track, we were scoring. Points was going to be given. If it meant we had to all do 5 races, 5 different things, we would do that. And it started with us just saying, we need to win this championship. And honestly, it took off from there. Every year we won. And when we left, the competition continued. We left that legacy where St. David's Catholic Secondary School will win intercall. And the year that we didn't, we worked harder and we dominated again. So it's again, the student athletes at St. David's Catholic Secondary School, knowing that there was a legacy left for them to continue. And we have to say shout out to Paul Phillip, shout out to everyone who is continuing that legacy and building those athletes. But Lisa Pascal and Lisa Slinger and those girls from Anglican High School made our competition worthwhile because we weren't giving up and they weren't giving up. It was like they call us the country girls and the tongue girls, and we just showed up every time, and showing up meant that we meant business.
And Kirani, it's interesting that back then in 2008, 2009 in particular, and I know I would have raised an answerness a few days ago when I showed that rivalry between yourself and Rondell back in, was it 2009, I think. It was the relay and the 400. The guys had a big thing about the relay at that time because I think they were defending their 4x4 record at Intercall. But then you took it out there, I think it was in the 400. Let's talk about, first of all, Kirani. As a young guy who came out of primary school, I think in St. John's, how you ended up at the Grenada Boys Secondary School for one, and probably not St. John's Christian, not St. Rose or even Happy Hill, but the Grenada Boys Secondary School.
Yeah, so originally when I passed common entrance, I was supposed to go to St. Rose Modern Secondary School. That's where I passed for. And my 2 primary school teachers, Mr. Nigel Forrester and Miss Patrick, they were the ones that were like, in order for you to reach your full potential, we think that GBSS might be the best place for you to grow and to do all these things. No slight to St. Rose or anything like that, but obviously GBSS is one of the biggest secondary schools on the island. So they, spoke to people, I don't know if it's the principal or vice principal, stuff like that, and to get me into GBSS. So that's how I ended up there. And it was really a chance because I was one of the, everybody had their students already placed and all that stuff. So I was kind of one of the last persons to get into GBSS that year. That was 2004. So it was a very interesting story. So for me, what I got out of that is that, throughout my life, I had a lot of people kind of look out for me in that way, right? And, without any kind of ulterior motives or anything like that. Well, maybe because Mr. Forrester, he was a GBSS alumni as well. So maybe there's a little bit to it. But just overall, is somebody saying, okay, we recognize somebody's talent or their ability, and how could we put him in the best position to succeed, right? And I feel that's what I always get when I think back at those things. That's what I think about is, those kind of selfless acts, where people help you, not just because they want something out of it or whatever, but it's like, no, I recognize something here. And based on my experience or my, connections or whatever, I think this would help this person reach what they want. Right. And yeah, so that's why I ended up in GBSS.
Yeah. And that rivalry between yourself and Rondell that started there, I should say, at the, and continued even at the Carifta Games and things like that. So
yeah, definitely. I think I think it's one of the best things that I think that was happening around the time, because it pushed both of us to be at our very best. Right, and especially with the rivalry of the school, he's a talk about tongue versus country, all that stuff. Yeah. Even though I didn't really feel that way because I was from actually country anyway.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have that kind of thing, but it was still a really good. Looking back of it, I think it was a very healthy rivalry. Obviously, you're going to have people that take it too far or those kind of things. But, I really think it did help both of us try to push each other and reach our full potential and go on to do a lot of great things afterwards.
What you think about the competition now in terms of the and looking at when you were competing back then, at Intercall in particular, to now when you look at it, I don't know if you have gone physically to an Intercall games of recent or look at it on on television yourself. What you think about the growth of Intercall over the years?
Yeah, certain things that I think that we have that are very unique in Grenada, that we have that are very, very unique to us, right? Our carnival is very unique, the way that we do it. Excuse me. And Intercall is another thing that we have unique. So I think it's important that we keep that essence, right? Don't try to emulate or copy, what other people are doing. Yeah, you might pull some things that you see, okay, this could enhance it, but to change the overall idea, I think that is something that we have to really embrace and keep, just keep working to improve it, right? And yeah, I mean, like I said, Intercall is just a very unique experience. It always has been. Although I've never had the experience of going up in the stands and, with the drums and all that, drum corps and all that. I never had that. So, I haven't had the full experience. But yeah, but even if you're not an athlete and you're just a student, I think it's a very unique thing that I think, once you graduate and once you leave, it's something that you're always going to remember, that experience, right? Supporting your school, dressing in your uniform, showing up at the games in your uniform. I think that is just fantastic. And and as track and field, continue to expand, continue to grow, get more exposure. The competition is going to get even more, even better, right? And more competitive. And and as technology gets better, all of that as well, being able to watch it on YouTube and all of those things, I think it really helps grow the event, especially for people that are in the diaspora. Grenadians that are in the diaspora that can be home to see it, they can still get a bit of the vibe instead of just sharing the results or seeing just a couple of video clips. So yeah. We've moved on from the time from that grainy video you sent out, It's a little bit more clear now, so yeah, we can see all that.
Yeah, I know, because time has really changed. That was, I think they said, was from a VHS. But Roger says, "Good afternoon. Did someone call me? I sure thought I heard someone say GBSS." All right, Roger. Yes, someone called you. Someone mentioned your name, and in a few weeks, in a matter of weeks, the names will be calling louder. Nerissa says, "Hey, familiar faces enjoying the convo."
Hey, Nerissa.
Yeah. And Lincoln Deputy, well, he's another case. He says they should meet next week at the stadium and have an advanced ceremony to present the 2026 trophy to the University of the GBSS. I never intended for that, but here he goes, And can I say, Roger, my wife, a SAS alumni, said to me recently, and you still wondering why no other school supports GBSS, and but well, that's the situation between Cleve Deputy and Roger Duncan. One went to GBSS, the wife went to SAS, both of them. Cleve, GBSS, his wife SAS. Roger, GBSS and SAS. So around this time of the year, they have this issue where who sleeps in the living room, who sleeps in the bedroom. Yeah, they have this problem. Yeah, they have the problem for a while, and then depending on the results of intercall, then they determine who is it, right? Yeah, but it's all about the rivalry, and I think what we're hoping to is that some of that energy, some of that excitement can fuel that organization, the Grenada Olympian Association, because most of the folks who are involved somewhere or the other in the Olympians Association themselves have been participants themselves, and particularly at Intercall, because the bulk of the association are primarily track and field athletes, even though we have boxers and we have one from taekwondo, swimming, and things like that. So the bulk of the folks and you folks with Intercall and all that it carries and things like that. So I'm certain that will be able to inspire quite a few folks, and as Hazel we are saying, hoping that when members are traveling to Grenada outside of their private life, where they can probably represent the Olympians Association in some way or the other, right? I'm certain that is part of your mission statement as well.
Yes, absolutely. So again, most of you would have known we did this as a group. When we went to Grenada, we visit each other's school, and that was really, really amazing. But as Olympians, when we go home, whether it's for private or business, we want to encourage and we want to make sure part of our mission statement is for you to go into schools, whether it's talking to the kids from the primary school level, because we cannot forget the grassroots programs. We cannot forget the primary schools. I know we talk a lot about the high schools and going into college, but that's where it really starts. We want to give back, and we want them to know, okay, at your primary school there's an Olympian. And not only saying it, but we also want to push it to having our faces in the school. So the students, whether you're an athlete or just a regular student, you're able to see, oh my God, this person did such an amazing thing, and we are able to make that connection. So there are a lot of things that we would like to do, and we plan on doing. And we encourage everyone to support us through this, because it's not just for us. It's about uplifting our younger generation. And as our first huge fundraiser, the cruise, respectfully yours, we're asking everyone to support. Even if you cannot join us, please support purchasing a ticket, sponsoring, whatever way that you can give back, because that's the only way we're able to carry out our mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Roger says, well, he's already in the living room. So I know.
Tell him buy a ticket and come to the cruise, and we'll have a place to stay.
Yeah, yes, you will have.
Our day.
And Rudieon, this one is for you from Lincoln. He says there are 4th place medals for Rudy's McDonald College and 5th place medals for the Misfiring Cannons. I think for Stephanie, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone, she says. And
Stephanie was our athlete too. She ran.
Yes,
Stephanie,
yes.
Long distance.
Long distance. Represented was McDonald College, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And Nigel is reminding us that Happy Hill Secondary and Boca in his time, they were troubled, particularly in the 4x4 open boys. Okay. Hope someone can touch base with young Latoya Charles from McDonald College. And please give the information about the cruise again. It's
April 2nd.
Thursday, April 2nd. Boarding time 7 p.m. And it's one of the latest cruise ships on the, party ships on the horizon now. I think it is.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, it
Best to
is.
see.
Yeah.
To see.
And online you can find the information. We have flyers and things available. You can also search for the Grenada Olympians Association Facebook page as well. They have lots
And
of
Instagram.
information.
Yeah.
And Instagram as well for those of you.
Yeah.
And certainly you can get most of the information there. Support them because it's certainly a worthy cause. And for those of us who, well, I say us, I give away, traveling to Grenada, for the Carafta Games.
Carafta Games.
It's an opportunity to support the Grenada Olympians Association in its effort to raise funds and to provide services to our Olympians, because as we said earlier, it's not just one now, but it's a collaborative effort. So it took just one to, as Allison would say, it took one to start the process, but it's an opportunity for everyone to come together. I'll be landing early on that day, so I'm expecting Toro to give me a ride to the yacht club. So Toro, Edwin is saying an opportunity for you all to hang out with the Olympians on Thursday night, right? The second is let's say a month away, and you go and support them. Yeah. Anything else, Hazel, we want to push regarding the Olympians? Charmaine?
Michael, I'd like to, I might be speaking a little bit out of turn, but since we're talking about Carifta, I'm thinking, one way we can truly support Carifta, it is the big thing on the island that really expose our children to higher competition beyond intercall. And I think one practical way we can all support that is trying to get a lot of our primary school and secondary school kids to go to the Carifta Games. And I think that's one way we can support. It's not really supporting us, but it's supporting youth in general. Maybe purchase a ticket for your schools, right? But purchase a bunch of tickets, like stadium costs, not stadium, but bleacher seats are like $12. If we can purchase tickets, send it to the school, get these kids to experience what Carifta is like, maybe as a spectator, that would inspire them, for going forward. So it's not a push so much for the organization, but really getting people to support the Carifta Games and support the team Grenada at the Carifta Games as well, right? So I want to make a plug for that and just encourage folks in the diaspora. You can help by sending some of these kids at the primary and the secondary school, adopt a child, AAA, adopt a child, purchase a ticket, help them to get to the Carifta Games. Let's fill up the bleachers with kids from, all of the primary and secondary schools across Grenada. And just again, thank you for the opportunity here. Thank you.
Just that the only challenge we have is that the Carifta is around Easter, schools on recess, and so it's something where you want to ensure that you can do it early, as Charmaine is saying, so that they can make the arrangements. We have issues with transportation. It's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, holiday, sort of weekend. So if it's done early enough, I'm certain whether it's schools, whether it's parents, they can organize. If I know my child will be attending the Carifta Games, there's a ticket available for the child to attend the Carifta game. I'll certainly try to make an effort. Probably as a parent, I may want to go myself if I didn't plan to go, just to accompany them.
And we did, our association did something similar where we purchased tickets before and we partnered with the school to make sure they had transportation to get there. So I totally agree with Charmaine. While we are promoting our initiative as well, supporting our athletes for Carifta is super, super important. And also part of what we're doing, because I'm also the chair for the Athletes Commission, we're going to have a service out so where you can leave positive notes for the athletes, because we're creating an engagement hub for the athletes as well while they're preparing for the Carifta game. So a part of their camping, so where they can have experience to read stuff from our Olympians, from Carifta participants from the past. So we want to make it a big deal. We want to make sure that we are exposing our kids to the most, how should I say, the best experience they can have starting at the Carifta Games, because that takes you to the next level. I am positive we're going to have college coaches attending the Caribbean Games, scouting and looking for the next talent out there. So support is everywhere. Supporting our initiative with the fundraising, supporting our Carifta team as they're preparing for the Carifta Games. And Michael, I just want to say Grenada is one of I think we have 5 effective associations in the Caribbean region. And that's a big deal for us to be on that list. So I just want to say thank you again to our Olympians. And again, we are not using the word past Olympians. Do not call us past Olympians. We are retired Olympians. They are very big on making sure nobody call us past because we are once an Olympian, always an Olympian. So I know people are normally using those terminology. Retired for those of us who are not active, and once an Olympian, always an Olympian.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Well said. And as we want to join in you folks in wishing Lyndon Victor a happy birthday. Yeah, today's the 28th. Yeah, 28th
Yes.
of February. Yeah, is becoming a big boy, as you say. You know? Yeah, and certainly, and I guess as much as part of the Grenada Olympians Association, you also want to wish him all the best on his special day as well. And I certain is something the GOA will be looking at in terms of its members when they have a special birthday, special.
Oh yeah, we are doing that right now. Our Instagram page, you can, every time someone is celebrating a birthday, if you check our Instagram page, you would see them. So right after we are finished, we're going to have Lyndon up there as well. That's a way of us building camaraderie and putting faces to a name so people can see, okay, this is who that Olympian is. So that's something that we're doing. We're going to add it to our Facebook page at some point, but this is already on our Instagram.
Yeah, and one of the things that something that we discussed some time ago is having the information available apart from the social media. When folks go to the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, I'll just use it as an example. While we may not be able to see a plaque or information on everyone, there's sometimes you have what you call a central scan. You can scan a barcode, right?
Yes.
And everyone these days with a mobile phone or whatever it is, and they can be able to retrieve information on the Olympians themselves, especially those who are retired, because when we started in 84, we have a number of boxers, 88 boxers as well. At one point in time, there were more boxers than track and field athletes representing Grenada at the Olympics. They're tied at stern now, and we're seeing more track and field than other sporting disciplines. So we may ask, where's the information about these Olympians? Yes, they have retired. Some of them are living probably in Grenada themselves. We don't know.
Yes, the president of the GOC is one of the first, Bernard Wilson.
Yeah, Mr. Bernard Wilson, for example, Bunny Wilson, an Olympian himself back in 84. And we'll ask, where are they? What are they doing? And get them to share their experiences as well.
So that means the next show.
Kirani is doing it, Shamin is doing it, others doing it. We probably can get them on the next program.
Yes.
They can come and share,
for sure.
Share their views. Any final bits from you? Let's go around. Rudieon?
So I have maroon on. When I got it, when I pick up my uniform on Friday, I said, "Oh, McDonald College maroon." So I'm just putting that out there. We're certainly going to go there and do our absolute best on this intercall. But again, we're just asking for us as Olympians, our initiative and what we are doing. We're asking for your support. Support us in any way that you can. We certainly will be helpful in building our youths. And I know we didn't speak about it and we're not supposed to say anything, but I'm saying our next 2028 Olympic Games, we could bring somebody, what we can support and help somebody to the next Olympic Games. So truly that's our plan.
Yeah. Allison?
I mean, it's such a great group of us here, and wanting to do this, it's so inspiring. And Sherman saying we have to show up in the stadiums because that's where some people may feel the presence they may not feel otherwise. And I know going on a bigger stage, sometimes you just kind of, it's frightening, right? But if we can give them that exposure and that support, even if maybe they go to another level and they are, that crowd is not there, they remember the cheers. That's what helped me a lot when I was away from home, when I had to travel by myself sometimes. So I think, we are just asking everyone really to show up however you can, because we really do want to reach back to the kids that may think that they are going to be forgotten. We don't want to forget them. So please come out, support as we power through this new chapter for us and also for them as well.
All right. And let's here, Shalene.
Oh, just yes, asking for support again, saying thank you, again, respectfully yours. It is our way of saying thank you to you. So we respectfully asking you to join us on this cruise. It's gonna be epic. This weekend, I believe it's national chance. Let's
It
shop.
is.
Those of you who are in Grenada, let's shop for the kids, as they try to make this team, right? Like Allison said, sometimes the cheers, that goes a long way in knowing that you have a whole nation or a whole, nation of people behind you and cheering you, right? So let's, in Grenada, try to go to national champs and support the team, support Carifta, support Intercall. We have something special for you at Boca for Intercall this year. It's coming. You gotta wait for it. But anyway, but yeah, I think having that support goes a very, very long way, for a lot of our youth. So let's do what we can where we are. So thank you in advance.
Yeah, and before I go over to Hazel and Kirani, Rudieon, Edwin is saying you'll be happy to hear that the Ohio State University athletes are doing big things at the combine.
Yes, 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 they are.
Combine, yeah, and
I've been following on that,
yeah,
in the championship, yeah.
yeah. Hazel?
Again, I want to say thank you to everyone. Without each of the Olympians saying yes, we would not be able to form and have this Olympians Association. So I'm thankful for them trusting in this, and we're looking forward to big things. Again, support our athletes, national champs. We have Intercall, Carifta Games, and most importantly, for us to give back, we are asking for you to support our cruise, respectfully yours. If you can't be with us physically, making sure you purchase a ticket, or we have sponsorship packages as well. All of the businesses and different entities in Grenada, we will be reaching out to you. And again, even if you can't give big, the small portion that you can give will help us reach and meet our vision and mission.
All right, and before I go over to Kirani, Roger says all retired Olympians should have VIP access to all athletic games in the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. I'll speak to the director, Kirani James, of the Stadium Board of Directors, to the powers that be. Read the messages over and over again. Yeah.
Thank you, Roger. That's why Roger is a good friend, He look out for us,
And certainly before Bascom closes the program, you should lead a prayer for the West Indies cricketers as they prepare to meet India. All right, Toro, no. We supported them in Toro. Yeah.
Toro, we wish them all the best.
We have we have the national championships at the stadium this weekend. We also have the for Afi Fletcher as well at the cricket stadium.
Yes, shout out to Afi.
Yeah,
great work. Yes,
for her service as well. And then we continue next week with the primary school, national primary schools, right? Don't forget national primary schools track and field, and then that will be followed obviously by the Intercol Championship 17th to the 19th of March. The 17th to the 19th, of March, the Intercol Championships. Kirani?
First of all, I just want to say, and I want to reiterate to the folks watching how important this group is. And it is paramount that we keep supporting each other. People at home support the group, people in the diaspora support this group. Because I really do believe it is an organization that would really benefit the athletes. We have a lot of people here that are successful right now in their own lives, that has a wealth of experience, a wealth of exposure to different avenues that could help athletes. We've all had our experiences, whether it's good or bad, that we could help impart on young athletes that would help them understand, you know, a little bit more the system or things that they want to go through. So I really do believe that this is an important group. I'm excited and honored to be a part of it. And yeah, and you know, for the folks back home, please support the Respectfully Yours cruise. It is IV line of support to the athletes, I would say, right? You know, a lot of the things, your tickets, all of that, you know, it is definitely is going to help the athletes. That's the people that you're going to watch at Carifta, the people that you're going to that are in, you know, junior colleges or colleges right now. These are the goal of all of this. So it's going back directly into the athletes and supporting them in their dreams and goals. So yeah, just, you know, please support the cruise. You know that your money is not going to waste, and it's not just going to be a sunk cost that you're just going to part and not see the benefits of it later down the line. And yeah, I just want to end on gold looks best on green vest.
Really?
Gold looks best on green vest.
All right, ready. That's one for the road for leading up to Intercall 2026. And I assume you looked at your game today, Kirani, 4-1 over Villarreal.
It was early. I didn't watch it, but yeah, I did follow it when I saw it. Yeah.
And you saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And Michael, I just want to say thank you, Kirani, so much for joining us. We really, really, really appreciate it. We must say, whenever we call on you, you're there. Even when you're not feeling your best, you're still there. And that means a whole lot to us as well.
Yeah. All right, then. Thank you very much, folks. And hopefully we can reconvene another time so we can talk a little more about the activities and, well, other ongoing activities, I should say, of the Grenada Olympians Association. Congratulations once again, because folks, if you go onto the World Olympian Association website, you will see the countries that are the nations who have NOAs. And Grenada is one of few in the Caribbean, you know. And from what I'm seeing, it appears that it may be probably one of the most active one, you know. Jamaica with 100 and something Olympians, and you know, I asked someone from Jamaica, what did they ask? What are you talking about? I said, no, there is a Jamaica Olympian Association. And I say, but I'm not here. You know, first time I'm hearing about it. I say, yeah, there is one, right? But congratulations, folks, once again. And certainly we can chat a little more, later, probably after Intercall, you know, when people can come back and say, well, you know, I'm sorry, you know, and things like that. So, you know, I thought it should have been like that way, you know, and things like that. But
Charmaine not going to come.
No, Charmaine said that this will be probably a good year for Boca Secondary.
You'll be surprised. Just wait and see. Wait and see. Time will tell.
Yeah, a good year for Intercall. But, you know, it's all fun. And I like the passion that Grenadians take with the track and field. I think they put it to another level, you know, and there are those who don't understand the little banter and things we see on social media. So some people get involved. I always say, not understanding that, hey, these folks have their banter. They are the best of friends, but there's a period of time before and after Intercall that we say, hey, we're in war, you know, but it's a friendly war. But here the thing about it, that's interesting. They go to each other's sports meet. Yeah. They take photos. Yeah, they take photos, and you know, they're very friendly. But then when you see them on social media, hey guy, why you doing under my post? Why you know this? You know, that is the banter. But it's good for for athletics. It's good for Intercall. It's good for sports in Grenada, because if it's one thing I can say about Intercall is that they always tell people, hey, when you come to, you can interfere with anything else. Don't interfere with Intercall and Carnival. Grenadians are very, very passionate about that.
Yeah.
So
Certainly. So Michael, if I may say, Shemaine, let's wait for the 40th anniversary, and then we'll talk about Boca, all right? So let's wait till next year, all right? So let's kind of leave it alone for now.
but
Let's talk next year.
before we go, Charmaine, just give me some more information on that regarding Boca Secondary School, and it's 2027 or 2028.
2027 would be the 40th anniversary since winning Intercall. So
A
Yeah,
long
we're
time.
gonna have to give them.
long
Yeah,
time,
we're
long
gonna have to
time.
give
So
them a
we're
first place
due.
on the
Don't
side,
worry,
you
we're
know?
coming.
Yeah.
We're due for a
We,
championship. So
Hey,
yeah,
it's
Charmaine been
we'll
coaching.
make one.
Charmaine been
Yeah,
coaching for more than 2
we'll
years.
make up a championship for you and just give it to you guys, because the anniversary. So we'll do that. I'll talk to. Let me talk to Toro. Toro might want to take one from GBSS to give you guys
Yeah.
because he have a lot, So
Over
let's
the
wait and see.
years, I must say, Charmaine, that over the years, not just Elisa Brown, but we have seen some very good talents coming out of the Boca Secondary School.
Yeah.
And what I think is good about that is that gone are the days of the total domination of even the St. David's Catholic Secondary School and the GBSS, right?
yeah.
And SAS to an extent, right? We're seeing even Hillsborough Secondary School, Bishop's College, some of the private secondary schools also, winning medals, gaining points.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing now Intercall now where every participating school finishing with points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me, it says a lot.
That says a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it says a
And I
lot.
want to tell you something, Michael. Charmaine been coaching virtually. Y'all don't sit there and think that she has not been coaching virtually.
I don't understand why you're minding my business for.
You
Don't
understand?
worry. Don't worry. We will show up. Time will tell.
Yeah. But that's good. That's good. That's good. At least you're giving back because the important thing is seeing talent, nurturing the talent, and ensuring that you give the opportunity to those athletes as well, some way or the other. Any way you can assist, please do.
Yeah,
That's good.
anywhere we can inspire youth, right? So
Yeah.
that is the goal behind it. It's just showing support for our young people, and hopefully, as they rise,
Yeah.
they will take others with them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I wanted concur with Clem Deputy in Boca is an incubator of good athletes because we've seen even there's a club. There's a club, I'm trying to remember the name of the club, but somewhere or the other, it's a lot of the athletes, they are some way to be, affiliated with that club,
yeah.
right? And they're doing very well.
Yeah, the coach at Boca Secondary School has his own club,
Yeah.
and the name is not coming to me at the moment. But yeah, he's been doing a really great job with the kids.
Yeah.
The kids at Boca. So hopefully they find the results and that they're motivated. Right, part of it is, like sports is one way you bring a school together, and hopefully for a lot of the schools who's been done over the years, we can see the rise from them through those
Yeah.
performances. So.
All right then. So here is our parting comment from Lincoln Toro Deputy. Send your Intercall mercy requests to the principal, Tantine Campus, University of GBSS. SAS has already submitted their request. Lincoln Toro Deputy, you had the last laugh. Thank you very much for the laughter. Thank you once again, Grenada Olympians Association, and all the best. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
That was good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay then. Right. Yep. Folks, thank you. Right. So thank you very much. The Grenada Olympians Association. Wow. It was so nice seeing all these folks. Allison and Shemaine and Hazel. And obviously Dr. James joined us and Rudieon always with us. But certainly, pleasure talking to them. And we're not finished because sometime after, the Carifta and all of that, we'll probably have them again or some of the others to come and talk again. We want them to start sharing their experiences. And just as how we asked in the Olympians, we also, the retired Olympians in particular, we're hoping that other sportsmen and sportswomen can share their stories with us. I recall when we had James Clarkson and we had Michelle Hercules and others. I had a very good conversation with Donald Pierre one day. It was I'm still hoping that Donald can trying to get Donald Pierre to be on our program. He will talk to me ever so often, whether it's at the barber shop or whatever it is, but not for that. He will come on the program. Nigel says, I have support athletes from Bishop's College, Hillsborough. Oh, he has supported Anglican High School and Happy Secondary School. So intercourse should be great this year. That's great to hear from you tonight. Yeah. So folks, coming up on our future programs, our next program, we will have this young man. His name is Fimber Shotpree Andrews, right? You know him in the soccer world, right? As Shotpree. He was coaching. He started coaching in Karakou, and he has coached a number of athletes back then. He now has his own club on the mainland. It's called Sprinters Athletic Club. Sprinters Athletic Club. And spree come from, short pre, from the pre, right? Sprinters Athletic Club, it's bordering St. David and St. Andrew. I understand they use either, I think it's Malmont playing field, or sometimes they go to Progress Park, they go to La Sagesse, so they use both, areas or playing field surfaces in the parish of St. David and St. Andrew. But the majority of the athletes come from between the St. David and the St. Andrew areas, right? So we'll be speaking with Mr. Andrews. It's Fimber Shotpree Andrews on our next program, God's willing. And yes. By the way, look out this weekend, because his club, Sprinters, the majority of athletes you'll see in those age group categories, like the under 9, the 10, 11, 12, even the under 15, they come from his club, right? So they should be dominating those age groups at the national championships. So as soon as you finish, you can, go on and you will see. I think it's streaming live, by the way. And then following that, we have the national primary school championships. That again, you will see a number of those athletes, because most of them are from the primary schools. You will see them in action again. So we'll be talking to Mr. Andrews about his journey as a coach, starting in Karakou, and now he is on the mainland in the St. David, St. Andrew area. And following that, the following weekend, we'll have MP Andy Williams. A lot has been happening in the south of the island regarding sporting infrastructures and things like that. So, and we want to bring in Mr. Andy Williams to speak about that, because he has been instrumental in getting a number of these things, whether it's the limes, grandans, the coating grandans, Mon Rouge, and we're talking about even the lighting of some of those facilities. How these things are helping those communities. What is the end game there in terms of that? So we'll be speaking to MP Andy Williams regarding that. So look out for those interesting programs. Fimber Shotpree Andrews and then Mr. Andy Williams. Yep. So folks, thank you once again. Don't forget the Grenada Olympians Association. They have their cruise, their fundraising cruise, on Thursday, the 2nd of April. It's a pre-Carifta Games activity, but it's particularly to raise funds for the Grenada Olympians Association as they continue their effort to assist the Olympians, Grenadian Olympians, I should say, rather, former as well as current Olympians, right? So thank you very much for joining us on this weekend's program. All the best. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend.